The department head Lorraine said, "I'm utterly disappointed in you." And while I cleared my desk, these words pierced my ears. I heard people laughing around me and felt my female boss's icy stare. As a once promising recent graduate, I never thought I would stumble so badly. The one who started it all, Lorraine, grinned menacingly. "I've heard your wife even asked you to leave." The day following the personal adjustment, she served you with divorce papers, didn't she? How about it? Merely contemplating how pathetic it is, Lorraine mockingly laughed. I gave her a short glance before raising a cardboard box containing my possessions. The only thing my wife left behind when she left was the divorce papers. She left with our savings in addition to the items. I suppose that was a reflection of my shortcomings as a spouse. Her harassment by my new female employer was the reason I was transferred to a remote backwater. Even though Lorraine would frequently scoff at me, I never imagined that I would be held accountable for her faults at work. I was moved to a branch office in the country and blamed for them. I got married straight out of college, and my ex-wife left me because she felt I had let her down. Jordan, one of my coworkers, approached me while I was packing. "I'm going to miss you around here." "I'm at a loss on what to do. I'm not required here anymore." "Then there must be something for you to do in the new place you're going to." "Possibly. I appreciate everything. See you later." I moved to the rural town shortly after leaving my prior position with everything I owned. "We are so happy to have this young man join us at the beginning of the year. Welcome on board. Salutations." Everyone at the branch office greeted me warmly on my first day of work, even hosting a welcome party in the conference room. I didn't get the same treatment in head office as I did here. Man, this place is filled with elderly employees who hardly know how to use current technology. That's about all we can do with Word. We can type just like we used to on a typewriter. Do you even know what a typewriter is? Yes, I do indeed. You can now demonstrate to us how to use these new phones to send emails and take pictures and movies. I'd also like to learn more about apps. We were having cocktails when I couldn't help but ponder deeply. It's true that hardly many young people reside in this isolated town, and I was shocked to learn that the majority of staff members at this branch office were rehired retirees. At this age, having a job is good, but we're not techies. Nobody is available to educate us how to use computers, thus we are having problems with them. You're correct. Excel is even unusable for us. Everything we do just takes a long time, since we still work with pen and paper. Even when we post a job for a part-time position, we are unable to locate somebody with computer abilities. I see. I questioned my ability to succeed in such a setting. I had little choice but to start working at this branch office, where I was warmly greeted despite my reservations. I had to educate senior staff members the fundamentals of computers the following day at work. Let's investigate. First, create a simple Excel chart. Then, maybe use a function from the advanced course. I printed up 4 sized guides that were carefully designed for each person. I thought that by using the manuals, I would be able to stop them from saying things like, "Oh, I asked about this before, but I forgot." The older employees were inquisitive and prone to forgetfulness. I took notes so that I could make the manual's extensive graphics and drawings as plain as feasible. Another difficulty was the company's outdated computers. I worked with headquarters to set up a rental service for newer PCs. There ought to be no more justifications for why someone can't perform office work. I just have a question. Before I arrived, who was managing the office job since no one knew how to use Excel? Perplexed, I inquired with my coworker, Henry, about it. Emma was the one. Emma. She is Max's daughter, and Max lives close by. After graduating from college, she was hired in a city, but her employer failed because of the recession. She returned home after failing to secure employment elsewhere. She was employed here as an office clerk for a while before having to leave because of some family matters. Well, with what happened, it couldn't be helped. What happened? It's nothing. Henry went back to his desk without saying anything else. She had no other job in this town, so why did she quit? What would have occurred? I had been thinking about this Emma girl for a long time. After a while, The weather unexpectedly changed one weekend. It was beautiful one moment and pouring rain the next. Not even that I could hang the wash outside. As I peered out the window, contemplating, someone paid a visit to the ancient house I was renting. The doorbell rang again as I went to the door, where I saw a sodden woman from the rain. Hello. What took place? You're completely drenched with water. What is happening? I was compelled to ask the woman. Hello. I apologize for bothering you. My dad vanished from sight. Have you noticed any old men around here wearing pajamas? No, I haven't seen anyone. When she heard that, she lowered her gaze and remarked, I see. Your father is missing, I inquired, passing her a towel. When I asked, she gave me a subtle nod. Have you contacted the police? I have, indeed. Even now, they're looking for him. The public address system proclaimed the disappearance of an older man, Max Iron, 58 years old, with a medium build, seemingly on cue. Max, hold on. Emma, are you there? Yes, I am that person. I was somewhat aback to see it was Emma, the same woman Henry had mentioned at work the previous day. The former worker for our business. Her father was the one who was absent. I went on to tell her that I was employed by the same company that Amy had worked for in the past. She began to tell a story, appearing somewhat relieved. She informed me of her father's dementia and how her need for care caused her to resign from her position. Even though it was difficult for her to make ends meet, she managed somehow with the help of the government and her meager resources. But lately, my father started wandering off frequently, and I can't deal with it on my own anymore, she continued. I see. I've discussed with his care manager the possibility of putting my father in a care facility, she sighed. However, I'm not sure if it's the best course of action. I feel bad about checking Dad into a care home, especially since he helped me pay for college. Perhaps I ought to keep looking after him on my own. Her eyes filled with tears. She must have spent a long time contemplating this on her own. I see. That must be really tough. Thank you for sharing this with me. Oh, I should be going now. Are you going to continue looking for your father on your own? Yes, I can't keep bothering others with this. You should change out of those wet clothes, even if it's warm outside. Her face turned red, embarrassed. She hugged herself and looked down. Oh no, I'm sorry for my appearance. Just then, the emergency broadcast resumed. Max has been found safe. Thank you all for your assistance. Oh, they found my father. That's great to hear. Yes, I'm so glad. Thank you, she said with a smile. I found myself worrying about her and impulsively offered my help. If you like, I can come with you to pick up your father. I can bring my car right now. But that'll be too much. We've just met. I'm an employee of the company you used to work for. I heard about you from others. Given the situation, let me help you. Okay, thank you. She reluctantly agreed to my offer. After that, I drove her to pick up Max. Exhausted, Max was sound asleep in the hospital bed. He had been found with a bruised hip and was scheduled to get some tests done the next day for precaution. He was admitted to the hospital, and I ended up driving him home. It must be really tough taking care of your father all by yourself. Not at all. It's something everyone does. During the drive, we talked a lot. She seemed anxious about her future as she was unable to work but had to care for her father. I'd prefer to stay at home as much as possible, she said, looking vulnerable. Hearing her story, I came up with a suggestion. But I'm not sure if I can manage it. I'm already overwhelmed with my father's care. It might be better to consider placing your father in a care facility sooner. What if something like today happens again, and he's not found? That's true, but at least in a care facility, the risk of him wandering off would be significantly reduced. I know. I'll think about it. Thank you for your advice. I might have been interfering, but I thought something needed to be done for her before it was too late. Shortly thereafter, I decided to bring up a matter at the company. I made a suggestion that some of the computer-based tasks should be outsourced. The proposed contractor was Emma. I'm anxious about balancing work from home and caregiving, but I'll give it a try. Having some income will make life a bit easier as well. I agree. I'll do my best. The company quickly approved the proposal, and Emma began assisting with our office work. She also started searching for a care facility to take in her father. Continuing caregiving without a job was financially challenging, and to avoid repeating her father's missing incidents, it seemed necessary to find a facility for him. I'm missing living with my father, but I've realized it's selfish of me to keep him at home, she said with a wistful smile. Sometime later, a place for her father in a facility was secured, located next to the hospital in town. It provided reassurance of immediate medical care if needed. Emma told me about this with a smile. That's great. Your work is highly praised at the company now. Would you consider coming back to the office to work with us? There's no need for you to work from home anymore. Teaching everyone about computers is quite a task for me. I offered it while laughing, and she looked surprised and said, Really? Is that acceptable? Indeed. The business really wants to rehire you. How do you feel? Yes, please. I would be honored to accept that offer, she said with excitement. I replied, No. Thank you for coming back to our team. Emma came back to work for us after being rehired. Looking forward to working with you again, she concluded. It feels great to have you back. The office will be more lively with you there. I'll do my best again. I got a flutter of joy as I saw her dazzling smile. I wasn't sure at first if I would survive in this small town, but I'm beginning to feel confident. Jordan, an old colleague of mine, told me before I got here, and I instantly remembered. There must be something for you to do. Yes, there must be something for me to do here. With a feeling of destiny, I made the decision to always give this town my all.